Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I am that dude, Bodkins.
Yeah, DP lost it, Steve. Yeah.
Right, where he's wondering, he's like, I
Had it up, Patty.
He won style, like no weight classes.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's been a couple guys that are like,
It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy.
That's just not my mentality, bro.
Yeah. Leave the ladder down. That's my always like, hey, somebody helped you out. Why not help somebody else out? Return.
Give a big round of applause for the one and only BodkinShow.
Or bringing Craig Counsell down the interstate in a move unexpected. I had people.
I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the BodkinShow.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I am your host, Bodkins, of course. Oh, man, it has been another lovely week. Great week in sports. We got game 2 kicking off tonight. Boston and the Mavs. Game 1. Ooh. I mean, the Celtics absolutely smacked the Mavs in the face. And then you hear reports today, Luka is playing, but he is dealing with multiple injuries. Can they keep him upright and uptight the rest of the way? That'll be interesting. We talked a lot about that on Thursday's show, on the Let's Talk Sports show. Great UFC card last night as well. The Caitlin Clark news that happened as well. She's being left out of the USA Dream Team. I, for one, am not mad about it. I am, obviously, y'all know I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. I know a lot of people, they don't understand or whatever. Do I think she could have been on the team? Absolutely. You're telling me there's not a spot for one of the best shooters in the league? I feel like there is. But I'm personally, as a fan of Caitlin Clark, not a point because I'm not too sure if they don't play during. I think they shut the WNBA down during the Olympics, or maybe the season's over. I can't remember. But nonetheless, I think her season will be over, and then she needs some rest. This girl's been playing since last, college season back in November, and has played all the way up until now for the most part. No breaks, no nothing. So she needs some breaks, she needs some rest. So I'm not upset about it at all. But nonetheless, that was this week. But you guys know on Sunday, I love to sit down with just people all over the world, get to know them, let them plug their podcasts, let them plug whatever they do. Sometimes it's fighters, sometimes it's podcasters. Tonight, we got to clean up the room, clean up the house, because we got a lovely lady. Ooh, it's a lady joining us tonight. She hosts. She's a big Cleveland Browns fan. She was at David Njoku's softball tournament, representing her squad, representing Cleveland to the fullest. You can catch her on her own podcast, the lovely Bougie Sports. Give it up for tonight's guest, the very lovely Yvette, baby.
Man, can I hire you? Man, that was a great opening. I'm feeling myself now after that.
Hey, anytime. If there's one good thing, you're gonna get a good 5 seconds from me. After that, it's all questionable. You know what I mean? I can give you a good intro, but if you're willing to hire Yvette, I'm down. I am down. Let's go. I always like to start off talk to me about how did you fall in love with sports and things like that? Because everybody's got a story about how they started watching sports, and obviously you're a big Browns fan and Guardians / former Indians.
Sure. Absolutely. From Ohio, we're a football town. We're a football, and from Youngstown, I'm in the middle of Pittsburgh and Cleveland, so you have to have a side. And in my household where I grew up, we were on the side of Cleveland. So my father was a huge Cleveland sports fan, so I watched it with him. It was a way to bond. And the first team, the Cleveland team that I fell in love with, was the Cleveland Cavs, when Craig Elo and Mark Price and that team, the Brad Daugherty, that team.
Yeah, yeah. And then Jordan broke crushed your hearts, them years.
Yes, absolutely. Look, come on. It's all misery in Cleveland, which is
Well, you've had some success. We'll get into it. Now, currently, there's some decent success.
Absolutely. Yeah, true. When we did win a championship with the
Yeah.
Cavs. So there you have it. Which was another team that I loved back in the day with that's what we talked about. But the Guardians, you said I love the Indians, the 95 Indians was my team. I love that team. And I wasn't a huge Browns fan. I was a 49ers fan because Ed DeBartolo owned the 49ers and he was from Youngstown and they were really good. And I was a kid then, so I was just like a front runner. So I used to love the 49ers. I didn't like the Browns until after they came back from Baltimore. That's when I really started following the Browns. But
those are the awful. So I guess you didn't even get to enjoy like the days of when they were making the playoffs in the 80s and things like that. And then you've had to endure, really the new franchise, and it's been abysmal since, I guess Stefanski has kind of turned that thing around. They've made the playoffs. He's been coach of the year twice.
Oh yeah, the team now that we have some pretty exciting years that we've had, and then it's not that not old enough to have enjoyed the Bernie Kosar days. I wish I would have been, but I just don't want to be a liar and say I like them. Then I was I was like the New Kids on the Block. I was like, I didn't. It was weird. Like my love for them came, like I said, after they came back from Baltimore and that's even better. That even makes me a better man because those were really bad years.
Yeah, 2-0-6. They went 0-16, 2-0-16 seasons.
Well,
or one,
so 1-0-16 and one 1-15.
Okay, yeah. So some bad times, but it looks like promising start. The last few years under Stefanski. He got the big contract extension. Him and the GM both did. But my question to you is, and I've had a couple different Browns fans on, what's the deal with Deshaun Watson? I had a couple of them say this is it for this is the last season for Deshaun if he doesn't get it done. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I think in the mind of the fans, for sure, that this is the last season for them. I don't think they're going to give him any more time to, get off that rust, that people like to use. So I'm hoping that this is definitely, we will see something. I just can contribute last year that he was injured. And I know a lot of people were mad that he didn't play, but I mean, if you get injured, you get injured. But what we did see of him, it was good. And so if that comes back this year, which I hope it does, then we should be pretty good. Being part of the AFC North, which is already the toughest division in football anyways. You have to.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think that division is top to bottom. All four teams, if you said this team's going to win the AFC North, I'd be like, yeah, you can make a case for that team. And if you're like, this team's going to finish last in the AFC North, I'd be like, yeah, you can make a case for that. You can make a case for all four teams making the playoffs and winning that division. I think you're right, Yvette, it's the toughest division in all of football.
Yes, which is awesome because we're good.
Yeah. The Browns. I mean, people forget that they made the playoffs last year. I feel like with Joe Flacco, without Deshaun. Now, what I've said about Deshaun is that they don't. You don't get better at something by not doing it, and he hasn't played, full 16. He hasn't ever played 17 full games, and he hasn't even played 16 full games in like 3 years.
I know, it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating as a fan because I mean, he paid all that money. Not only do we pay all that money, it's like we got so much flack just for him being drafted on the Browns. Like, all of a sudden, we're bad people because we still wanted to like the Browns. So there was a lot like in the Deshaun Watson deal for many reasons, not just in football, but if we can only just talk about the football, yeah, we haven't seen anything great, but I think you mentioned earlier about them expending Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
This was their decision. So if they're going with it, what do I know? Like, I just have to stick. they got extended. They seem to like Deshaun Watson. So hopefully everything comes into place this year.
Yeah, you do make a good point. They got extended, and it was their decision to kind of go in all in on Deshaun. Like, they traded all those draft picks to bring him in. It helped the Texans. Or look at the Texans now. By God, they fully rebuilt and retooled. They're a team that could a Super Bowl contending type team as well. Let me ask you this, because number one, you are a female, so let's and then you bring in Deshaun and all the allegations. Like, how do you handle that? Or was it just like, hey, that's off the field, that's justified, or you're not justified, but whatever it is. But on the field, I'm a fan. Like, how do you look at either side, or just say I'm just going for on the field?
I think when he first came on the team, 3 years now.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me because I did stand on the support, and I think when he first came, it was easy to immediately hate on him and hate on everything, So being a female and what he was accused of, but like you said, you have to take that away from that game at some point. And I enjoy football, and he's not the Cleveland Browns. He's one player on the Cleveland Browns. I have to want him to succeed because I want all the other players on the team to succeed. So I don't want to have to play that role anyways. It shouldn't be our decision as fans to like, it should be the NFL. If they're letting him in, then we should feel free to enjoy it.
Yeah, he served his suspension, and technically he was found innocent in court for the most part. So I kind of agree with you. I'm with you on that. Like, hey, once you put on my team's uniform, whatever you did was whatever you did. Winning cures all wounds. You know what I mean? So he goes out, and I've always said that about everybody, is he goes out and wins a Super Bowl. Everybody going to forget about all these allegations. At least all Browns fans were, and they won't care because he brought them the one thing that's eluded them their whole entire lives, and that's a Super Bowl.
Right. And this is nothing new. I mean, come on, right? Like, we've had people murder people, like Ray Rice.
Yeah, Ray Lewis.
And Tyreek Hill is not absolutely an angel. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on, look at even on the Kansas City Chiefs, the kid right now that got in trouble for speeding and all. And anyways, there's a lot.
Oh, yeah. The not worthy, but what's his name? Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Ray Rice.
Yeah. Not Ray Rice. Ray Rice slapped his wife.
The other one.
The other Rice. Yeah. I can't think of his first name, but yeah, I know we're on the same page. Yeah.
Right. But
Rashid Rice. There it is.
There you have it. But yeah. So
what's the key for you? What's the key, do you think, for the Browns to take the next step? Obviously they made the playoffs. They won the division last year. Yeah. And then
I don't think we won the division.
Okay, they made the playoffs, so it's a wild card and lost, I believe. Yeah. And then what's the next step for the Browns to either the Ravens had the bye. They were the 1 seed. So what's the next step for the Browns to, advance or even win this division this year?
I think you said it earlier, like with Deshaun Watson, the offense has to do the part. I think we all know the Browns have a great defense, but it's the offense that we need to get together. We need to see Deshaun Watson do what I want to see him do, is what we have as the strength of, is that he can run the ball and he is a passing quarterback. So he's like a Lamar Jackson and a Joe Burrow, if everything comes together. And that's a huge advantage. There's not many quarterbacks that can play both roles or those type of quarterbacks, So if that all comes to place, I think that we're looking really good, because there are other things. I think we have the coaching and staff now, and with the general manager, and I think the consistency is something else that we lacked in Cleveland. And if you think back, at franchises like the Ravens that have the long stretches, or look how long has Mike Tomlin been the coach and at the Pittsburgh Steelers? I think 100 years,
16 years, I think. 16. Yeah.
But we don't have that in Cleveland. And that's something that you need, I think, to have to build, get together. And it seems like we're getting that now. We have a coach now in place, and we have other things. So
yeah, I think this is the first time anybody's ever got extended in Cleveland, right? Stefanski's got an extension. it's usually like you said, you got to have that continuity. Is you know what I mean? Like you look at the Patriots, even like the Green Bay Packers. Like in my lifetime, that's my team, and like they have always had a long coach, long quarterback for long-term years, and we've had continuity. The teams that the franchises that don't, the Browns, the Bears, always changing quarterbacks, always changing head coaches, like changing GMs. Like they don't have that long continuity. And now it seems like the Browns have that, at least at the head coach position, at the general manager's position. And really the way they pay Deshaun, even though some fans, like we talked, like are saying this could be it for him, but like this is now year 3 there. So it's like, hey, can he continue and can we continue? What's your thoughts on Nick Chubb? Can he come back? Because I feel like that's going to be the key. Yeah.
I seen him at the game yesterday, and I was checking out the knee too. I was like, let's see what that knee is. I'm, just to be like realistic, I do see him coming back because I honestly feel like, man, if there's somebody that would make a comeback. I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen him come back after an injury before. So this isn't his first injury. But this was a really, really bad injury. This was a gross injury. So, yes, I think he'll come back. Do I think he's going to be at back game 1? No, I don't. I hope we see him this year, though.
Kareem Hunt's still on the roster, or is he gone?
No, Kareem Hunt's out.
So who do they got to kind of replace the backup to be the backup?
Jerome Ford.
Ford. That's right, Jerome Ford. Yeah. And he did well last year, and they made the big.
Who else did we pick up? We picked up what's his name?
They picked up Jerry Jeudy to help on
the running back too.
On the outside of Amari Cooper. So it'll be interesting what the Browns can do going forward. I really like if Joey Burrow can be healthy. I'm a big Joey B guy. I think if he's healthy, the Bengals will be back. The Ravens, you know what I mean? They brought in Derrick Henry. The Steelers finally have somewhat of a quarterback in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. That division, I mean, it's stacked. And I'll kind of wrap up our Brown talk, and then we'll kind of move to some other Cleveland sports here. But if you had to give a prediction, I know it's super early, June 9th, and I don't like giving predictions this early, but as you sit June 9th, 2024, Yvette, where do the Browns finish?
In the AFC North?
Yeah.
I think they finished first. I really do. I think like what you said before about there's an argument. I could say any of those teams can finish first. And the only reason I could say the Steelers could finish first is because they're lucky. I don't think that their roster is, I honestly don't think it's as good as them, but they do have something that's better than probably anything else in I don't know. I hate, it's Mike Tomlin. He's a really effing good coach. He is a good coach.
There's a reason he's made the playoffs every year he's been a coach.
Yeah, I mean, I hate him.
There's a reason he has no losing records because he's a good coach. He is a good coach.
He knows how to win. He can win. He wins.
He's done a lot. He's done more with less. Like that's the thing. Like he's taken some teams that probably had no business making the playoffs make the playoffs.
Absolutely. So that's why I could see them finishing and the Steelers always have that defense. They're always that Steelers tough defense. And they always find a way to come back, which sucks. But that's, all contributed to, I think, Mike Tomlin. So, but I wouldn't put them first. I'm going to put them fourth in the AFC North. And I think second would be the Ravens. And then the third, you think, well, I guess if Joey Burrow comes back in like he did, yes. But other than that, I don't really see the Bengals as a big, huge threat. Not only in AFC North, but just in anything in general. Like I'm a huge fantasy football player. Like that's another thing. And the Bengals, there's just too many questions there, and with T. Higgins and all that going down, but so I would still put him before the Steelers, and then Steelers are going last. Okay,
you mentioned the fantasy football. I know you're a big fantasy football player as well. I've been known to dabble a little bit myself and talk a little trash in fantasy football, and win a few times, but. Is there somebody right now, again, it's early. I know the rankings are kind of jumbling up, but is there somebody, let's just start. I'm just going to kind of go through each position here. Is there somebody that you're kind of, give me a person that you're higher than and lower than quarterback wise? Let's start at quarterback.
Sure. Let's put out someone that let's talk about Jaden Daniels as far as high as. Coming up
Okay.
as a rookie, I think that's someone to watch. I think talking about a running quarterback, I'm really interested in him. And I feel like, he might do – a lot of people don't like to touch rookies, but sometimes, it might work for you. So I think that Jaden Daniels – I'm not saying really, really high on, but I think he's higher than what people think.
Okay. I would call it a sleeper is what we like. Yeah, I like that. And if you think about the talent that he has around him, Terry McLaurin is a top 25 wide receiver. Jahan Dotson is really, another really good wide receiver. The running back situation is questionable at times, and they do have a new coach, so that'll be, you just never really know. But Daniels makes a lot of sense. Who's somebody that you're kind of down on in the quarterback wise that maybe everybody might be higher than?
You remember Matt Stafford, and I don't know if people are even high on him, but this is someone that I don't even feel like I'm going to touch. Yeah.
Why?
I don't even know if that's. I don't know. I mean, who's even left there? Like, there's just something. I just don't. I don't know. And maybe
I like Stafford. I think Stafford is. It just depends on where you're drafting them at. I would probably take Stafford back into my draft if I'm a person that always waits on quarterbacks, and he's still got Cooper Kupp. He's still got Puka Nacua. So I don't know. I mean, is he top 10? Probably, maybe at the bottom 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you wouldn't take him like in a redraft league, maybe a super flex. Your second quarterback in a super flex.
Yeah. In a redraft league, I'm probably, again, if I'm waiting and it's like a 12-team league, I'm probably taking him as like my second to last pick.
The quarterback position is so deep this year. I feel
It
like
is.
there's so many quarterbacks that you can take. I mean, you really do not have to rush to take a quarterback at all, I think, this year, especially. I mean, you're a quarterback, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Talk about a stud. That's another stud that's probably, I don't even know where he's going, but I mean.
I think you could take, in a super flex league, I think you could take him in the first round in a super flex, first or second round.
All right. Now you have your green colored glasses on. I don't know about the first round. That's a reach there, a little reach.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think in a super flex league, if I'm in a 12-team super flex league and I got the 12th or 13th pick, I'm taking Jordan Love, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Because now that I think about it, in a super flex, because everybody would be taking a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
And he is probably the sixth or I could see. He made my top 10 list.
Yeah. What about the running back position? Give me somebody that you're higher on than everybody else.
Zamir White.
Oh yeah.
There's
nobody there in Las Vegas. Yeah. He's gonna be surprised, and he's gonna. I think towards he's kind of low right now, but I think he'll shoot up draft boards once we get closer to some drafts.
Yeah, once we start seeing like that there is nobody else, and he,
Yeah, there's nobody on the depth chart. It's just the Zamir White show. So give me the guy that gets a lot of touches. I love that one too. Who's somebody that you're down on?
Running back. This is fun. I like this. So I really want to think about someone that I'm not going to like someone spicy that I'm down on. Well, I mean, I could say I don't know if this is spicy. I think this should be obvious, but I'm down on both the full backfield and the Steelers, like both of them, Najee and Jalen Ward. I don't want either one of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. If you take one, you got to take them both. You know what I mean? Like, and then because you don't really know, and then you don't really know what Artie Smith's going to do, what kind of offense he's going to run. You know what I mean?
I think even with I don't know what it was, but I heard something. This has even made me more like less. We have to look up what Najee's stats were last year. I think they were really freaking horrible. But I just like to rub it in. Anytime you say something about the Steelers, I'm always going to think. But yeah. Another running. I'm trying to think of. I don't know how I feel about Josh Jacobs.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
I
it.
don't
I like
know.
Jacobs. No, Aaron Jones. No, I mean the AJ Dillon's still there.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I'm a huge Aaron Jones fan.
I love Jonesy. I love Jonesy too, but I think he'll be all right in Minnesota. But age is getting up there.
Yeah.
I was trying to. Now I can't. Oh, here it is. Maybe it is. What about wide receiver? Is there a receiver that you're higher on?
Oh yeah. That's another. I want to make sure that I think this through to give people a really good choice on who I'm. All right. Well, I'll go with another rookie, and I'll just say I'm not high on, but I guess this is a Marvin Harrison Jr. on where to take him. I'll say that I'm probably running on that. I wouldn't probably take him in the first round because I know that's where he's going, and I think he will return the value. I think that's what people are scared of with taking him there. Is that if you do take him there, he does have to be as good as you think that he is going to be, and I do think that he is going to be that good.
Yeah. I just pulled up the rankings on Fantasy Pros. Harrison's the wide receiver 12. You like him higher?
No, that's about right. Don't you think?
Yeah. The guys after him, though, so Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore. I probably like Harrison more than
Devontae Adams. There you go. Out of that group, I'm fading Devontae Adams.
Yeah, because who the hell's throwing him the damn ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's done. It's over. The time is over. He had his chance when he was there with you guys.
Yeah. So Rio says Derrick Henry might lose touches to Lamar, especially in the red zone. Yeah, I kind of agree there, Rios, as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's a wide receiver that? Oh, you said you're fading Devontae. Yeah, are you fade? What's right? Another wide receiver you might be faded.
I kind of feel like this might be a little spacey too because I'm changing my mind on this one, but I don't know how I feel about Drake London now.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 18, and I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do with Raheem Morris. They got 2 Chainz Kirk Cousins as the quarterback.
Yes.
But it'll be interesting. He's not a guy that gets separation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a good route runner, and he's wide receiver 18. And I'm looking at the guys around him: Nico Collins at 17, Jalen Waddle at 19, Amari Cooper at 20, Cooper Kupp at 22. I kind of like all those guys over Drake.
I would take any of those guys over Drake London.
Even Michael Pittman Jr. at wide receiver 24.
Yeah. I think they have no disrespect for Amari Cooper, man. That's what I was going to say. The person that I would take would be Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I think he's going to do. I think it's going to finally be the Kyle Pitts. Finally, we've been waiting on this for a long time. So yeah. So you mentioned Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is wide receiver, running back 18. I just looked that up as well while I had the ranking.
Never put respect on Aaron Jones's name ever. He's always one that's ranked too low. I think so.
Let's see. I was trying to see where they had. I was trying to look here to see if they. I was trying to pull it up. Man, if I'm looking right, I can't even find Zamir White. He's got to be top something because we said. Wow. Oh, Zamir Wright is running back 22. Listen to the guys around him. Stevenson, Mostert, Swift, James Conner, Najee. I kind of I like Zamir more than all those guys. He's the only guy there.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Najee Harris. And
then, Najee Harris is running back 21.
I wonder what round that is, because those are still starting so I mean, if you're going 0 running back, you're getting a starting running back, and like one of those guys could be your RB1. I mean, potentially think about it like later on rounds if you
Yeah.
wanted to 0 running back.
Is that your status? Are you a no running backs drafty?
I've never done no running back. I'm actually kind of the old school where you like I felt like you need to have a running back. I don't like to go into a draft like, you know, saying targeting a certain type of position. I rather go for value.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm the same way. I'm more of like best player available to me at that certain position at that certain time, regardless of position. I'll make it work later on.
That's the fun of fantasy football. Like people understand, like there's so much more to fantasy football. It's just like it's not just like picking names. You have to use your mind. You have to do like, oh God, who are they playing this day? And it depends on how much you want to get into it. And then you do that on a weekly basis during the season. So that just makes it more fun. It's mind games too, you know.
It is.
How
How early do you start mock drafting?
I did a couple. I've already mock drafted, but I'm also in the Scott Fish Bowl, and we have a draft this month at the end of the month. I did a couple dynasty leagues, so they're drafting now, and I think it's a great way to see for if you know where you're drafting at. For example, I know that I have the 101 in the Scott Fish Bowl, and I never ever have the 101. I don't usually take it, and I never get it.
Who are you looking at?
Well, but they have.
Is it dynasty or just a redraft?
It's redraft, but there's different rules.
Yeah,
so there's tight end premium, and these rules are a little funky. I'm dying on that Josh Allen hill because I don't understand him as the 101 pick, but it's starting to make sense, you know. And that's what I like about talking to people, and not having agreeing with people, and I love pushback because that's what's fun about sports is like you push back off of each other and you start thinking things out. And I think Josh Allen with his rushing ability that he might be a good person for me to take in that slot. It's a super flex, so that
okay.
And there's a 3rd round reversal, so that makes it really hard for people with the 101 because on the 3rd round, it's almost like I'm going 2 rounds before my next pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like Patty Mahomes. I know Allen's going to get some rushing. I just think Pat Mahomes to me is still, what I mean?
That's who I'm going back and forth with. Plus,
yeah.
They added more people to the offense.
Yeah.
They added Xavier Worthy, and he's might be potentially returning at the beginning of the game since the NFL changed the kickoff rule.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to return those, if that's Xavier Worthy, for the Scott Fish Bowl, it's a 10 points for a return touchdown. So that would be a huge person, I think, to get. So Pat Mahomes is just the stud. So
he is. I would say we're living in the Pat Mahomes era, and we just got to get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, I accepted it. You don't have to like his face or his voice. I don't. I hate him. I hate him. I hate his stupid brother. I hate his stupid dancing brother, and his wife's annoying and obnoxious. And I'm not a woman hater. She's just really obnoxious. Like most women would agree. They're all annoying.
Yeah.
He's the least annoying out of the Mahomes. And he happens to be the best quarterback of all time, the greatest athlete ever, and probably a good, nice guy, but F him. That's what I say.
Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to say F him because he's beating our teams. You know what I mean? I get it. Yeah. You mentioned at the top that you kind of fell in love with the Cavs. That was kind of your first love. Are you still follow the Cavs, and who should be their next head coach?
I followed the Cavs this year. There was a really fun team to watch. I have no idea who their head coach could be. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, this guy, this JB Bickerstaff, how long was he was there for 3 years and he got fired. He got us to the playoffs. Like this year, we got all the way to the playoffs and we lost towards Boston, who's still playing but we would have never beat anyways. People hated him there. in Cleveland, but I think Donovan Mitchell didn't like him, and I think that's what it all came out to. So who knows? You never know what goes on behind closed doors. But I honestly don't know, because I don't know enough about it to have an opinion on who I think should be the next coach. But I really loved Sam Merrill this year. If I could talk about who I did like. So yeah, there's just something about him. So I did like him, and but it's a fun team. I hope Donovan Mitchell stays.
Yeah.
That's what I can say about the Cavs. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to if you're a Cavs fan. Are you the Ohio State Buckeye fan, or are you just primarily a pro girl?
Of course, I'm a like Ohio State Buckeye fan. I'm an all Ohio sports fan. This is how I devote my time. It's like 98% Browns, and then the other 2% I split between the other Cleveland sports. That's just how I. But I do. I love the Buckeyes. It's so great because I used to party big time on Saturdays and Sundays, but Saturdays was always the most fun on college football day.
Is it like playoffs or bust for their coach, for Ryan Day, you think?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think it is. There's a lot of people that are on their last. I guess that's in every year, but I think even after last year, after we lost to Michigan again, for sure.
Yeah, I think I've had a few Ohio State people, and they've kind of said the same thing. Like, this is it for him. Yvette, I got to ask you. So, talk to me about your podcast, like Bougie Sports. How'd you come up with that, and how'd that come about?
Yeah, I just wanted to start a podcast where I can just basically be myself, and that is just a bougie girl that likes sports. And when I use the word bougie, it doesn't necessarily mean in a derogatory way. It just means that I'm extra, I'm different, and I'm proud of it. And I think that's what I want Bougie Sports it's to be. It's not about, what people think, we're fancy or whatever. No, we're just extra. And yeah, we are a little fancy. And so yes. And we talk about Cleveland sports and more than Cleveland sports, fantasy football, holistic health and wellness. They're talking about wrestling. We're just trying to expand and hit on everything.
You're a wrestling fan?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, heck no. I'm not talking about it. I watched the last I watched it with the what was the last big thing that came on?
WrestleMania.
No, where the story was ended, and he ended the story started, but then he ended it. Cody Rhodes, he ended it.
Yeah, WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania.
Okay,
yeah.
I watched that, and I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it as a live entertainment show. You know what I mean? And I know it's WrestleMania, it's coming to Cleveland, and I would absolutely love to go to that because I'm a fan of I'm just a fan of sports in general and to watch it, but no. Heck no.
I'm a big UFC fan, big wrestling fan. I love all of it. But I get it. Yeah, it is something like WrestleMania is one of them things that you can get behind. Like, I feel like anybody can kind of get behind and watch. But yeah, SummerSlam is coming to Cleveland in August. So yeah, if you get tickets or a chance, you should definitely go and take your daughter. She would probably love it. I took one of my two kids took them to like a wrestling event, and they all loved it. So
oh yeah, I'm sure. And I know how popular it is, and that's why I want to make sure we cover it. And the girls on the Squad Pod, that another podcast that comes on Bougie Sports, they're covering it, and they're fans of it, and they love it. And I love that too. So I think you should always just stay genuine to your true self.
That's what I always say. Be yourself, be genuine to yourself, and like that's what matters. Like, people are going to tune in if you're you. You know what I mean? Don't be fake. Like, be somebody that you are. That's why my show's called the BodkinShow, because I'm never going to be anybody other than me. So that's kind of why, that's always my advice. Like, be who you are and be genuine. and that'll come across like if you are honest with yourself and your guest. And I've said this before too, like I never worry about like views or things like that. All I want to know is all I care about is like, am I having a good time? Is my guest having a good time? Are we having a good conversation? If those are always yeses, then everything else will take care of itself. Like so that's what's important to me.
The truth will set you free. I'm the ultimate cringe person. I'll post the most cringiest things, but once you put it out there, now I don't even care anymore. I can be as cringy as I want to. Like, this is me. It's like, surprise.
Yeah, you embrace your cringe, and that's okay. It's good.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Embrace the cringe. I love it.
Embrace it.
Yes.
I noticed you're doing a lot of like your top 5 list. What were your top 5s this past week again?
Oh, I did the top 5 people I'd want to grab a beer with, NFL players.
Okay, who are they?
And I went with well, I didn't put him in any order, but my Browns player was Jameis Winston because he's freaking hilarious.
Are we doing active players or just like all time?
All time.
Okay. Jameis Winston is number 5 out of all the people.
Watch his YouTube tips.
I think Jameis is a character, but I'd rather have a beer than other people than Jameis Winston.
Well, don't you want to go out and have a good time? Like when I think you're going out and beer, like I want to sit there and laugh. Like, yeah, let's get freaking wasted and hang out with Jameis Winston. Like that's the night I'm having with them. All right, so I had picked Barry Sanders. There you go. There's one person I'd have a beer with.
Yeah.
Only because I watched I don't know what documentary if it was on I love documentaries, so that's a great way for me because I deal with emotion, and I think when you see documentaries you get to watch the emotion behind the people. You learn about the real people themselves. Like you take them behind the sport and you learn about their life, and I love that. And I start like I watched the Steph Curry one. I like Steph Curry after that. Who would ever think I'd like Steph Curry? I don't know if you ever watched that, but I was like intrigued by that. But
yeah,
the Barry Sanders documentary was amazing. He's so humble. When he got like drafted, he left. He didn't want to get interviewed. And it's not because he was cocky. It's just because he didn't feel like he was special. Like he was like, that was special. Like I just was good at football. And he's like, why do you need to talk to me? He didn't feel like that, and but he was so good and he stayed so humble. And I just would like to talk to someone like that because I think that to be that powerful, to have that much control of yourself, to be so famous, to be so talented, and to not let it get to your head.
Yeah.
How? Like, who does that happen to? Hardly anybody. That's why in sports, like, or that in that level of Barry Sanders. This one is really weird. Pat McAfee. Because
I don't think that's weird. I love Pat. It's somebody I would want to have a Pat. I'd have a beer with Pat, fucking smoke a joint with Pat. Like, yeah, that's 1,001% batting 1,000 right there.
Yeah, it's the energy. I feel off his energy.
Same.
I like that about him. Like, I feel like he'd be like, that's good. Like right out, like, and he'd talk. I know he's a Pittsburgh guy. Like he really like reads Pittsburghy to me. But I think I could talk to him about it and say like, you reek Pittsburgh, and he'd be okay with that. But I know he likes the Colts though, right?
Yeah, he's from. That's where he played. Is Indy. Yeah.
But and he knows a lot. I'm a fan of the show. I watch the show. I get a lot of my, what I learned is from his show, and covers everything but baseball, really. But and he knows anybody that has that power to get Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Caitlin Clark on their podcast. I mean, like it's nothing. Everybody's on that podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of I followed like Pat from like the early days, like in his house, like when he was doing like a podcast, like just a legit podcast, like, and he was putting out shows like Monday, Wednesday, Friday type deal, even on Sundays. And like he wasn't getting those big guests at that point in time. He was getting AJ Hawk and a couple guys that he played with, and then like he's obviously grew into what he is now. So like I feel like as a fan, like I've been a fan of his since A1 day one, and like been on this journey with him. It's great to see. It's like it's like watching your friend from afar succeed. So definitely, yeah.
let me ask you this, because I did not follow him. I've just recently followed him, so I've already been here. Like, so someone that's followed him before the glow up, do you see a change, or do you see him like the same?
For the most part, it's the same. It is the same. Like, I have my friends that they're kind of been Pat fans. Like, I turned them on, so they've been watching it along too. So like you know what I mean? Like, they were worried when he went to ESPN and said, like, it was like, oh, he's gonna fucking change. He didn't really change. Now, some of the guests he's not having, like Coach JB. Do you know who Coach JB is? He used to this show on Netflix. Last Chance U, that coach.
Mm-mm.
Oh, so he used to have him from on all the time, and JB would just fucking rip. I mean, just fucking go F word this, F word that, you know, fucking slap dick this, and he's a great fucking hilarious person on camera, like funny. But you could tell, like, if they ever went to like ESPN and shit like that, those are people can't have that they can't have. But yeah, for the most part, to me, it's the same. It is the same. So. What up, Ed? Ed was on the show. He said one of his two favorite people. What up? He says Yvette, one's a Cubs fan, so that means he must be good people. Sorry, Ed. Yeah, love you though. But the Guardians are better than my damn Cubs right now. So.
Guardians are on fire. Right?
Yeah, they are killing it. Yvette. So who was the other? We had Barry Sanders, Pat, Jameis Winston. We had two more.
Okay, so. I've always been a fan of this player. Okay, I'll be honest, because he was extremely hot back in the day, and he was really good, and he was good for 20 years after that, and that's Tom Brady, the GOAT. Like, I would love to have a beer with Tom. I mean,
I don't know if Tom's drinking beers, though, Yvette.
Well, we just drink. Well, we could do a shot.
I guess he did. He was drinking something at the roast, so he was drinking something.
Yeah. Well, I could drink the beer. So we had Tom Brady, Pat McAfee, Barry Sanders. Who am I missing of my own top 5 list? I have to think about who my last one was. So obviously, I wasn't that into drinking. Tom Brady, Barry Sanders, Pat McAfee, and oh God, yes. I remember. Okay, now I know who it was, because this is my favorite moment of time in history. Is when Terrell Owens said, "That's my quarterback. That's my teammate." I love that. I love everything about it. Like, that wasn't like, he didn't make that up. That was him being like his extra self. And I think he would be someone that would be cool to have a beer with. And if I got him drunk enough, maybe say that. And that my life would be made. That's exactly it. That's my
T.O. Okay. That's quite the collection of people.
That's all different plethora of nights out.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Yeah. Like every day is a different night. You know?
I like it.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, Vet, I told you I do a dog of the week and turd of the week. Do you want to go first for the turd of the week, or do you want me to go first?
Sure, don't matter.
I'll go first. My turd of the week this week is none other than the Chicago White Sox. They lost 15 out of their last 17 games, including 14 in a row. They're the worst team in baseball. Luckily, my Cubs beat them twice and had to come back from behind. But the White Sox you smell that stench on the south side. It is the Chicago White Sox. They're absolutely the worst team in all of baseball. They stink. They are my turd of the week.
There you have it.
Do you got a turd of the week, Yvette?
Yeah, I do. And that my turd of the week is going to be Pittsburgh Steelers fans, because yesterday at the softball game, and now I realize I just did like 2 shots right before I went out, but I'm walking in and there's like a whole, there's a lot of people around, like it's crowded. We're walking into the softball game, and kid comes in with the Steelers shirt on, coming down, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck are you wearing a Steelers shirt? So I'm like, boo, or something like that. freaking immediately, I bet like hard in front of everyone. I am so in pain right now. So F to all the Pittsburgh Steelers fans for their bad karma. So that's who my turd of the week is.
Okay. My dog of the week, got to take off all my other stuff here, is none other than Kristaps Porzingis. Hadn't played in about a month, and in 21 minutes, he scored 20 points and helped lead the Celtics. He was the X factor in Game 1. Kristaps Porzingis is my dog of the week. When everybody was shitting on him, he still came out. He played 21 minutes and got 20 points and was the X factor in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Kristaps Porzingis, my dog of the week.
It kind of reminds me of it gets me a little bit of lone wolf vibes.
Yeah,
which is awesome because I love the lone wolf. I love that. So mine would be I'm going to give it to all the so I'll just give it to David and Joko, and it was such an awesome celebrity tournament game yesterday. It was so fun to see like all the players coming out, and I love to see them giving autographs to fans. They couldn't be so. I mean, it was a great fan experience, and that's great because we do so much as fans to see that give back and to give back to charity. So I want to give that to all of the players in the tournament yesterday.
Hey, well, I appreciate you joining me, Yvette. Let everybody know where they can find you at, and go ahead and get those plugins before we get up out of here.
Sure. You can find Bougie Sports on YouTube at Bougie Sports. You can follow me at Yvette and LeBoy on X. I'm at _Bougie_Sports Yvette on Instagram. And you can also find me on Facebook. We have the Squad Pod coming back live on Tuesday. Like, I'm sure there's people that like wrestling. They'll be talking about wrestling, the NBA Finals, and have a lot of things planned for football season coming up. And go Browns.
Hey, we appreciate it. We covered it all, I feel like, tonight. This has been another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I'll be back tomorrow night with my guys on the LTS show. We'll be talking about Game 2 of the NBA Finals. My guy, Jim Behringer's been at the last two game. He was at Game 1 of the Stanley Cup. So he's been boots on the ground for the Stanley Cup, so we'll get his opinion of what's happening during the Stanley Cup. We'll talk to my guy Jim Behringer tomorrow as well to catch up with the baseball. My Cubs absolutely stink, but nonetheless, be a friend, tell a friend, folks. We'll be back on the LTS show tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Be a friend, tell a friend. Like, subscribe, share. For the lovely Miss Yvette representing Bougie Sports, give her a like, give her a subscribe, share. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night. See y'all. This has been another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I'm hitting that outro, baby. Have a good week.
Awesome. Thank you so much.